Welcome to the show. It's deep with a twist. We're laughing through the scriptures where humor coexists. Cultural Hall. Come on and take a seat. It's faithful and it's fun. Wherever it meets feet. Dive into the stories. Hear the podcast call. It's Mormon stuff with a smile in the Cultural Hall.
It is time for another episode of the Cultural Hall, technically an Articles of News episode, but what we're going to do is attempt between our memories, our lived experience, and a little AI. No, we're not having AI write this episode. Calm down, Elder Gong. We're using it as a structure to jam-pack this episode full of information. It is a countdown of the top 13 stories of 2025. Now, there will be more than 13 stories, so it's kind of like, do you remember this when you were a kid? The Choose Your Own Adventure books, where
Sure.
you get to the end of the page, and then you could go to page 81 if you want Johnny to walk in the closet, or page 83. So you could technically construct your own top 13 articles of 2025 based on this.
Yeah,
because we'll
let's
give you
do it.
more than
Let's
that.
do it.
And if you think that we absolutely missed it, as far as one story goes, or gave way more impact to one that you're like, nah, that's not a big deal, we can do that. So
Come at us and tell us. Yeah.
We may even do probably towards the end of this first half, we'll do just to lighten it up, just to give it a little flair, a little thing. Plus, I researched some games that we may start playing in the future. That's my ADD this morning. We're gonna play Smooch, Marry, Kill. Verlin, the news wizard, my guest for this countdown of the top 13 stories of the year. No opening exercises here. What say you is the 13th top story of 2025? However you may determine it.
Yeah, I'm going to go on long-term impact.
Okay.
And so I say the 13th story is the fact that the church continues to run seasonal campaigns, whether that's Christmas campaigns like Light the World, Easter campaigns.
Okay.
I think they'll probably add others in the future, but I think this kind of ongoing drumbeat and campaigns year over year will have the 13th biggest long-term impact.
Now, you remember, though, like when we didn't do these seasonal things, and the first time we did it, we're like, man, hashtag light the world, and we were all about it, and everyone shared stories, and it certainly had the impact that I think that they wanted. And even the first year where we had the giving machines, where it was like, oh my gosh, and people are waiting for hours, and all of these things. How I know I'm not paying for the business consultancy, but how are we going to keep that fresh? How are we going to keep
well,
that
they're going to
fresh?
have to keep it fresh.
Yeah,
so it's going to ebb and wane. It's going to get stronger. It's going to get weaker. I think they just have to change different media, different personalities, different influencers. This year, you could argue that the giving machines were just as big as any year ever in certain cities. I mean, Kansas City certainly did it very well. A few other cities did it well. It strikes me that New York could be a great city to do it. They did it really well about 10 years ago, the first time I went and saw a giving machine.
Sure.
And so I think it's just a matter of coordination of local leadership as well as general church leadership in making these things really explode.
It's interesting. So my 13th story, similar, runs adjacent to your 13th story.
Okay.
Mine is the expansion of the giving machines into other countries, and the amazing response that other countries have had, because it was the first time that they had gone into several countries this year where these countries were like, oh my gosh, what are these things? We can help other people. We can help people in our own country. You know, for me, if I'm looking at the 13 top stories of 2025, for me, the giving machines into other countries, that's number 13.
That makes a lot of sense. I love it.
Yeah. All right. And that's how this episode is going to go, y'all. We may not agree with some of these, and I may say something like, oh, poo-poo. No, not that. Definitely not that story as we come to these different things. I would love to know what you think is number 12 as we count.
Number 12 in our articles of news or articles of faith or most impactful stories. I'm going to say number 12 is the new hymns and music initiatives.
Ooh, okay.
And I think we turned it up a notch this year.
Okay.
We started adding last year, but I think we're finally starting to make some real steps towards global music. The fact that we brought in some African gospel-based music, and I'm hoping that we just keep doing more and more of that over the years. But I think that's going to change our worship culture in several ways. One, certainly the music itself and how we handle that music. I saw a beautiful video the other day of someone doing Go Tell It on the Mountain
Yes.
in a sacrament meeting in a style and fashion that would have been unheard of 10 years ago, let alone 50. They probably would have been kicked out and excommunicated 50 years ago.
So it's interesting that you say that. So my mother, people that have listened to the Cultural Hall for a long time know that she's no longer a member of the church, but was. I say, Mom, this ain't the church you left anymore. And she says, go on, tell me. And I said, well, I just got done singing This Little Light of Mine with my Taylorsville brethren and sisterin, and trying to, sing it in a syncopated rhythm and all that stuff.
Right.
And there was some part of her that just did hand to forehead and went, what is going on? But I think the reason why maybe in years past, the hymn book, the change of the hymn book, certainly the announcement of it a couple of years ago, we all went, yeah, what, when, and then all the submissions, that was a big deal. And then it has just sort of waned. I think the reason that it is one of the top stories of this year is because, exactly like you said, we are introducing songs that are unlike anything that we've ever had before. It could be, the argument could be made that the songs that we had added up to this point were just other Protestant hymns that we'll sing way too slow, and now we're giving songs that twofold. One, introduce the body of the church to music from other like backgrounds and things like that, things that we're not used to. But two, bring us into an appeal where people go, oh, hey, you're kind of like us, but also you're also kind of different. But this is a sense of familiarity and a sense of difference. And I like that. And I think that we weren't doing that until we added, those African-American spirituals into this. I think you're right. I think we would have towed the line up to that point where we're like, yeah, okay, it's, he needs me as opposed to I need him. Great. Perfect. We love that. And that's not to downplay these great hymns, because they are great hymns, but they were very much a similar sort of tone and feel. And now we're like, let's go. We're going all.
My hope is that we don't lose the historical hymns that we use, because a large portion of them are classic Protestant hymns.
Yep.
They're not LDS specific hymns. And then we have hymns of the Restoration that are LDS specific hymns. Sure. And I want to make sure we keep a hold of some of those as well. But let's mix in some other cultures, some other styles, some other changes to the way we worship. The challenge, or not challenge, the opportunity we have is, do we change the way we physically manifest ourselves through these songs? Do we still sit there, with our hand and hymn book held in front of us and staying as still as we possibly can? Do we allow ourselves to move? Do we allow ourselves, to some more physical and emotional expression through our worship?
Sure.
I'm not advocating for rock bands. I've been to plenty of churches that have rock bands here and internationally. I do not enjoy them. But I love the emotional outpouring that comes from really emotion-based hymn singing.
It's such a tricky thing, because what I would never want people to do is to pretend like they're singing an African-American spiritual. That is not what you're saying.
Be genuine.
And what I fear some people will go towards. I can't remember if she said it or if it was sort of implied, but when we sang This Little Light of Mine, I think she said something, the chorister said something like, and if you feel something, go with it, or something like that. And I think that was a little bit of permission, where it was like, so you could kind of see people. It's so funny though, because we're so traditional, especially in my ward, where people are like, I'm kind of moving my head. Is this okay? Is this all right? I want to make sure. Are other people moving their head? Are we okay? Oh no, it's okay.
There's a very funny YouTube video that's put out by, I think it's somebody who's evangelical, and they're saying, hey, if you're coming to our church, here's some guidance on how to physically do things, and he makes fun of himself. He talks about, you could sway a little bit, You can put one hand up.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can do two hands. You can
Oh
keep it
yeah.
low.
Oh yeah.
You can go high.
I love it.
It's
The symbolism of the two hands when you hear something and you're like, I
Mhm.
support this, and you're physically manifesting that you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I support that. I didn't know what it was at first. I'll be honest. I was like, this is terrible. Hold on, let me go here for a second. I thought the person was stretching because it was only one person. I was like, I've been there, man. My back sometimes gets so tight, and then
That's right. Let's just.
he just kept holding his arms up, and I was like, oh no, this is something different than stretching. Okay, all right, all right.
Now, I have to admit personally, and I've talked about it a little bit. I served my mission in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
When you were giving a talk in sacrament meeting in Haiti, you knew that it was falling dead on the floor if you got no feedback from the congregation.
Like
And you
verbal,
knew,
audible
like,
feedback.
verbal, audible, physical feedback. You knew you were nailing it when you were hearing hallelujah or praise the Lord or blessed be Jesus.
Jeez.
And you knew that people were feeling it and hearing it and understanding it based on that reaction.
Hmm.
And I always thought that was beautiful. I loved that the congregation could interact with the person giving the talk, particularly in our culture where it's not the pastor giving the talk each week. It's each one of us.
You know, hmm, hmm. I wish we had a little bit more of that. I was I on Reddit something the other day where a guy was reflecting. He had left the church and has recently come back to the church,
Mm,
and was mentioning that he's like, why are bishops not saying anything about people being on their digital devices during sacrament meeting? He
uh-huh.
says, I'm a tall guy. He's like 6'7" or 6'8" or something like that. And so he's able, just by like his torso, he's just taller as he sits looking over, and
Yeah.
he's like, and
He can
everyone,
see
yeah,
everybody.
he's like,
Yeah.
everyone is on their phone. The likelihood that they're going to receive spiritual like influence as they're being distracted by their phones. Why is this not more of a church protocol? And I
Yeah.
was like, you're not wrong that the likelihood that we're going to receive that, but then, and several commenters lined out the same thing and said, listen, if you have the bishop who's heavy handing your get off of your devices and trying to
Yeah.
control all that, you just have to make the choice. I would maintain, and one of the things that I want to do for 2026 is I would like to feel the spirit when I go to church. And I know that to some people that will be like, well, yeah, of course, but I think I'm going to, because the time changed.
No, you want to be intentional about it. Yeah.
But even more, it's 2 hours out of my day, and I'm getting up at 9 in the morning now in the new
You're
year.
there for.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh, so hard.
So, listen, Mission Field, with the perfect time for church, you're 10, right?
No.
No, tell me what time yours is,
We're currently 11:30.
and what time will you move to?
We just moved, or no, we'll move in the new. You're right. We'll move. We actually move in the summertime. We move to 11:30 in the summertime.
Okay,
But the next one we'll move to is 9 a.m. church.
okay. So sorry for your loss in advance.
No, there's no. I'd rather have church at 7 a.m. myself.
Yeah. All I want to say, and you're crazy, but we can get into that a different time. Although I do like the anyway. Yeah. If I'm going to go and spend 2 hours of my time, I have been
Mhm.
lax about getting something out of that 2 hours of time or giving something in that 2 hours of time. I have just,
Yes.
in a lot of ways, in the last couple of years, been obligatorily allowing
Mhm.
myself 2 hours of time, and I
Yeah.
don't know, and this is not me like setting the stage for leaving the church, but I don't know that I want to spend 2 hours not either feeling something, doing something, learning something, or gaining something. So I
No, I
will,
think that's a great way of being intentional for
yeah,
2026.
yeah.
Absolutely. I love it.
I think it's fully me, so that's why I'm not worried about it. I know it's not the church, but like even as recent as maybe this last Sunday, I caught myself 20 minutes in, and I'm like, I'm just playing on my phone. I can play on my phone in more comfortable clothes on my couch. What am I doing? Click,
So
put it away.
one of the things I did, and it was several years ago. I was sitting on the stand, and my wife texted me while I was sitting on the stand,
Mhm.
and she said, "What are you looking at on your phone?" Because
Uh-huh.
I wear glasses, and she could see
Sure.
the reflection of the screen in my glasses. So I put the phone on silent. I put it in my pocket, and I kind of decided then that if I'm not using it to read a hymn or to find a scripture or something that I'm prompted to find, then it stays in my pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's kind of the approach I've taken this year with the Old Testament. I think I've also decided I am going to read the Old Testament on paper and mark it on paper and bring it to church in book form.
Look at you.
And so that's one of my little personal goals this year.
I don't think we've shared the episode yet. In fact, I know that we haven't, but there's an episode talking about getting a study Bible. You should do. Get yourself a study Bible, which isn't like a King James version of the Bible. It's like hey, you're studying the Hebrew Bible. Here is a great way to study it. I have been encouraged about that. I might do something.
Well, and I have, it's actually sitting in my Amazon cart right now is a new translation of the Bible that I'm getting for the Old Testament this year.
You can just click purchase and it'll be here by the time we get done with this episode. What are you waiting for?
It will be. It will be. I was trying to decide the exact one, but I think I've decided.
Nice. The one in pink. Yep. Good for you. That's a bold choice.
Well, they did offer the purple cover.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I hate to cause contention. We know it's of the devil. My AI inspired list of the top 13 stories says that number 12 is the leadership changes that are not the prophet of the church as the big stories of 2025. So highlighting things like the shift that we had when Elder Cossé became an apostle, and then all of the 70s and all
the waterfall.
Yep, the waterfall that comes from that. The change of the president at BYU Hawaii because of his cancer treatments.
That's one, yeah.
And the new presiding bishopric. It said, yeah, leadership changes. These are individuals that will likely be in place now for 10 plus years. As you can assume, likely the new apostle will not be part of the presiding bishopric. They will not have installed that new presiding bishopric and then go, yoink, we're going to take that guy. They'll probably go, from somewhere else, especially if it's Elder Dubé, that this is more likely to instruct, guide, form the church for the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. That just a thought that came to mind based on that. Mm-hmm. Do you think that because they just had a discussion about who should be the next apostle and Elder Cossé was called, do you think they had a short list?
Yes.
And do they start with that short list and
yes.
say, hey guys, we just chatted a month and a half ago. Here's our short list. Does anyone else have a problem with this list?
A 1,000%. I'm sure the conversation goes like this. Hey, we talked about these individuals before. How does everyone feel? I feel good. I don't know. Hey, I heard that whatever. Does anyone else have anyone else that they would like to throw in here? And I've heard this. This has been fascinating to me. That there is some thought that Matthew Holland will be called as the next apostle. Now, I think
that thought crossed my mind, but I think that will intentionally not happen.
Yeah, but that it's talked about enough to go from having, President Holland to the youngest elder being Elder Holland. That would be tremendous. And our church is known for having, the descendant of Hiram is the next, all that kind of stuff. It's a little old school LDS church, but
it's a little old school, and it's a little it could be viewed as some nepotism as well if we're not
always
careful.
Has been.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, I think it will go quick. That's why I have no problem.
And I love Matthew Holland. I think Matthew Holland would be fantastic as well. And he's young and energetic and has a lot going on and tons of experience.
Yeah. I wonder if he goes, guys, pass. I saw it with my dad. I'd like to be able to be with my family. I'm having a good time doing what I'm doing now.
So a little secret. I'm actually on the distribution list for him. He was mission president here in our mission. And because we got to know each other well, serving together, I'm on the list that gets the notices when he does a mission reunion. And he and Sister Holland had organized a reunion for this weekend in Utah. And so we got the notice yesterday that reunion has been postponed because of the passing of his father. And
because he got called to be an apostle. Good for him. You're getting the inside track on this. All right. What say you is the number 11 story for 2025?
I think ChatGPT gave me a terrible one in one of my lists. So I'm going to go up to the list of kind of overall media impact number 11.
Okay.
And that was the release of some somewhat controversial historical church documents,
Okay.
particularly in relation, I believe, the 1886 revelation on polygamy,
Okay.
and some of the controversy about, one of the prophets said polygamy will never be taken from the earth. It's the
Yes.
righteous thing to do. And then we have, later on a prophet saying, no, we no longer practice polygamy.
Interesting.
But those kind of controversial, more outside of the mainstream story we've told ourselves for many years, view of history.
Yeah, and mine similarly said the Worldwide Relief Society devotional held in March was number 11, and I was like, I mean, okay, it's a big deal. It's the largest women's organization, but I wouldn't do it. I would contend that, well, no, I don't think it's this far down on the list. I was going to bring something up. I don't think that it is. Maybe I would say number 11. This is a good place to put BYU sports, BYU athletics. I would say a good place for that is all of the fame with Kalani almost going to Penn State. You lump in there the female runner that I can't remember her name. Do you Hedegren?
Yeah, the freshman female, phenomenal freshman
that's
female,
just incredibly so fast,
just tearing it up. Oh my gosh.
The soccer team at BYU, the female soccer team, the I already said basketball. Oh, no, I didn't say basketball. AJ DeBonsa, and just every record that he's like, hey, yeah, I'm going to be the only one in the history of ever to have ever done this. He's got several of those. Most recently, the highest, like the 30-point triple-double
with the highest score.
And it's so funny. So I have the algorithm will serve me these different, stories or little clips or whatever. I always will comment on the AJ DeBonsa ones, and I say, worth every million of the dollars that we spend for him. How entertaining. And I just throw that in there, and some people hate
stir in the pot. It's
oh
Richie,
my gosh.
stir in the
oh
pot.
my gosh. So many people hate it, but I do want to. I don't know that I necessarily love where the college sports has been paid. I think for a long time they were being used by universities, so I'm glad that we're kind of going the other way. I think we'll come back into the middle and be like, let's be reasonable. But if we're going to buy a player to watch for an entire year, we made the best purchase ever. He's hilarious in the locker room videos. He's great on the court. He seems like
the students love him.
Yeah, seems like a decent guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's almost become a mascot for the team as well as playing for the team, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. What my poor BYU heart hopes for is not another Brandon. What was the guy's name in 2011 with Jimmer when we were going to go to the Sweet
Brandon Davies.
Brandon Davies. Yes. Yeah. My poor BYU heart gets so anxious as we do well that I'm just like, great guys, focused, eye on the prize. Let's keep going. Let's not do anything that's going to, that other college students could do that you can't do and continue to play. Let's just eye on the prize this thing. All of them. And I'm not saying that specifically about AJ.
There's a little controversy about this year too, which honestly Susan has brought to my attention several times, and justifiably so. There's this guy that was on the team that was arrested for alleged DUI. And I haven't heard any more updates on where that is. And I'm a big proponent of you're innocent until proven guilty. But there seemed to be a lot of pretty interesting evidence there. And yet he's back playing on the team.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm wondering, was that all settled? Was it all false? I haven't heard an update on that. So Brandon Davies hurt my heart when it happened. But what warmed my heart, as I said, but BYU's living up to its standards, even with athletes.
Yes, I agree on that.
But this latest one, people are going to start to challenge it if we don't get an update on, what was the final resolution here.
Well, it was DUI, but it was marijuana.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's against the word of wisdom. And so he's using marijuana. And so that's breaking the honor code. But
double check me. I think it was medicinal.
Which I don't know.
Which does not make it all right to be under the influence, but
correct. But you're right. If it's medicinal, how many of us have taken a prescription medication where it says "do not drive" and we've driven?
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so yes,
Double check that though when we get in
I
the break
will.
here in a second.
Yeah,
Double check because
I'll check that.
that might just be me hope pushing the things so that I can justifiably sleep at night and go, that's all right that they did that.
Can
All
you
right,
get medical marijuana in Utah? Yeah, I don't
kinda.
know.
Yeah, you can.
Kinda.
You
Okay.
know the right
Okay.
people. Number
Very
10 on
nice.
your list. We gotta
Number
go.
10.
We gotta go
I think it's.
faster.
I think it's a little. I think it's actually a little low on this. It's the reality TV and social media visibility of LDS members.
Yeah.
Now, I asked ChatGPT, why is this ranked so low? And it had a great answer. It actually said it's really shaping perception more than doctrine.
Okay. Sure.
And so it could fall off next year, and something else hotter comes, and it's forgotten very, very quickly. It's got a short cultural shelf life, and it rarely will change church internal direction and doctrine.
Sure.
So I can kind of see that, but I think it's huge, and a little bit of hint: our smooch, marry, kill is somewhat related to that.
Ooh, I love that tease. I definitely thought that story is in the top 10 because if you look from Secret Lives now bigger than the Kardashians as far as viewed hours, Kris Jenner very upset about that, to the impact that it has to where they're Dancing with the Stars, to Whitney on Broadway, to
The Bachelorette.
The Bachelorette. Not to be forgotten in this whole thing, the Real Lives or the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. You can lump into that. There's yet another Ruby Frankie, Jody Hildebrandt thing that comes out on Netflix.
Oh, that's right. We had the
next
whole
week.
thing that came out earlier this year, right? And
Yeah. So
one could argue that the Mormon moment in the media has been 2025.
Sure. And that's not even mentioning the sodas. The soda explosion, the soda shop explosion across the world due, if not entirely directly, mostly directly to the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And people going, oh, yeah, we can drink alcohol and have sugar. That's great. Not that they're mixing the two, but people elsewhere are like, this is great. I'll go get 100 grams of sugar and load up by breakfast. Sure, you bet.
I think that's called a strawberry daiquiri in the real world.
Yeah. My number 10 is the dedication of all the temples. So certainly we didn't see anything groundbreaking as far as we didn't hit the 400 mark. We probably would have without the passing of President Nelson. But all of the temple work, those that were dedicated this year in places that have never been dedicated, in announcing the one in Maine, it sort of lumped all of the temple news together. And let's not forget, like the one in Alaska, it's the first ever temple to have like the temple, the back lot still operating while they're building the other one on the same lot. So everything temple was the number 10 on my list. So
that's a good number 10. I like that one.
Yeah. So get to the temple. Number 9, what do you got?
Number 9, I've got global humanitarian and disaster relief expansion.
Okay.
Now we say expansion, but I think I saw the summary numbers for 2025, and it came out at about 1.45 billion. Was the number that came out? Isn't that very similar to last year's number?
In fact, I want to say maybe it's exactly the same number.
That's what I was thinking. It was very, very close to 1.5 either way. And so I think it's great that we continue to do it. I think it would be great if we continue to expand that number and expand the impact that we're having in a very strategic way.
And maybe the humanitarian, the way that's going is different. Yeah, 1.45 billion in 2024 as well. So I wonder if we've set that as a budget line and said, hey, get to 1.45. Maybe it's going further, or is it farther? On the continent of Africa. I know we certainly have been doing some tremendous things with organizations that it seems like is maybe serving more people because it takes less. Maybe so.
And we've done that in Latin America. I personally like the disaster relief, maybe because that's closer to my experience here with hurricanes and tornadoes.
Yeah, geez.
And being part of that. But yeah, I think it wouldn't be bad to set that mark at 2 billion next year.
Yeah. Listen, let's go for it. We're all about setting goals. How many first discussions did you teach Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? 2 billion or 1.45 billion?
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
My number 9 was the collaboration to preserve sacred petroglyphs. Now, remember, this is the story about
Ah,
the petroglyph that was absconded, which is a great word, and put in front of a church and then returned to the Shoshone people. Now, here's the deal. Uh, a guy I used to home teach, because that's what it was called when I home taught him. He's
hmm.
one of the Shoshone elders that was talked about in that story. Future episode of the Culture Hall, we're going to get into it. We had to get permission from the church to be able to discuss it.
Oh,
And
okay.
trust me when I say there's a whole laundry list of things like you can't talk about this. You can't
Oh
talk about
no.
this. To the point, and it's so funny. He's so great. I love him so much, and it was what I wanted to say but couldn't say. He fires in an email because there's an email of about five of us, and he's like, "Guys, we're professionals. You told us what we can't talk about. We're not going to talk about the stuff we can't talk about. We're not prepping questions and having you guys in on the interview with us. We'll
No.
do the interview. We'll send it to you. You'll love
Mhm.
it. It will be great, and it will inform the people." Like it was a tone
That's
and a feeling
super.
that I felt, but as the one trying to, court the interview,
Mhm.
couldn't say. And it was so funny because the other people responding were like, "Oh yeah, hey, sorry, sorry about that. You're
That's
probably
great.
right." Yeah.
That's great. Oh, that's a super. I love it. I love
So
that
I
for
I,
him, man.
I won't beat the drum. This is no pun intended on that at all. Of that story because I want to make sure that people get the opportunity to hear that whole story as it comes out.
That's
Let's do
great.
our smooch Mary kill, and then we'll come back and we'll do the second half of the top 13 stories. Like articles of faith, it's articles of news. What's our smooch Mary kill?
Smooch, Mary, Kill this time is all about kind of our presence in the media. And so, for those that haven't listened, we did a fantastic group episode on the movie Heretic.
Oh yeah.
And if you haven't listened to it, anyone that's listening to this, you got to go back and listen to that. It was
Uh-huh.
really well done, and I hope they come out with another similar movie that we can do that again.
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic. So, Smooch, Mary, Kill is if you had to look at Heretic, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, or Dancing with the Stars this year,
Boy, geez.
which
Okay.
one would you smooch? Which one would you marry? Which one would you kill?
What am I like, is it my
Don't
enjoyment?
ask me how you're going to judge it. You
No,
have to
no,
make
no,
up
but
how
I
you're
need
going
but
to
I need to
judge
know
it.
because like for impact it's different than like for my own personal enjoyment.
Well, you decide. Maybe tell us how you're judging, but yeah, you
All right,
decide.
I'm going to say for my own personal enjoyment, this is how I will do this.
Okay. Okay.
For my own personal enjoyment, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to either not watch something, watch a little bit of something or watch the entire of something. That's what I would say. In that case, I would probably kill Dancing with the Stars. Not that I don't love dance, not that I don't appreciate dance. A minor in dance, for those of you that don't recall. But I don't really watch that program. So it's easy for me to kill that and
Hmm.
not have any love lost as far as
Okay.
that goes.
Okay.
I would then smooch the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And because I really loved the conversation that existed between my wife and I after watching the movie,
Hmm.
and being able to, as you mentioned, do that episode, and just the way that I was able to watch those sisters interact with their faith and address questions, and the way
So
that
you're
I felt
talking
like,
about Heretic.
yeah,
Okay.
then
Okay.
I would marry Heretic.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Except for
gonna
the hold on. Except for that over the top like gross part of Heretic that's all like thrillerly grossy grotesque that part. I
the
don't
yeah,
I
the
could
gore.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was fine that it was there. I didn't need it, but that would be my one caveat maybe on that.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna because you brought it up. I'm gonna judge mine based on minimizing my amount of self-loathing for watching
All right. That's
it.
fair.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna smooch Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
I think that's great, and I'm smooching it as much because my granddaughter enjoyed watching it this season
Sure.
and really had a good time with it, and in fact was telling her father all about it the other
Mm,
night, and it was fun to listen to them talk about it. So I'll smooch that one. I'm gonna marry Heretic.
okay.
I love the art of movies. I love
Oh.
the impact of movies. I love the way it makes me think. and changes my way of thinking. I love that I had to sit back and think about things like, would missionaries really talk this way to each other? Would missionaries really act this way? Would you ever run into a circumstance like this? How would I handle that kind of I love, in every movie I watch, I mean, like everyone does, I put myself into one of the characters and absolutely just cover myself in it. It's why I can't watch tough, depressing movies very often, because I get depressed.
Yeah.
So that would be my Mary is Heretic, and I hope there's more movies, not like that, but more movies that dig into things like that in the future. And then Kill, it's just because, yes, I get drug into it, and I watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I sit there, and after watching it, it's like after eating. Have you ever had like an ice cream sundae that's about twice as big as you should have eaten?
Every time.
And afterwards, you're like, the first half of that was awesome, but I really deplore the fact that I ate the second half. I feel like that after watching every episode.
I have a stronger constitution than that. I go, no, I needed that. I needed that extra large. Actually, you want to know something ridiculous? And we'll take a break and we'll come back and do the second half. Because I eat so much ice cream, and I need to not eat so much ice cream, I am now trying to trick myself. Because to your point, and my wife would tell me as well as a dietitian, that your brain gets the like dopamine hits in the first couple of bites, and that's it. I have only purchased half of this, but you'll appreciate this. Little espresso spoons. They're only like 4 inches, and they've got the little thing. I also am going to get little souffle bowls, and I am only going to allow myself with the espresso spoon and the souffle bowl.
You're gonna use the dollhouse version of an ice cream.
Yes, because I can't help myself otherwise.
So here's my problem. My problem is maybe that would work for me with just plain vanilla ice cream. My problem is if I sit down and I have a pint of chocolate peanut butter ice cream in front of me, the last bite of that pint tastes almost as good as the first bite of that pint.
Well, you're only talking about a pint. I literally will plow a half gallon, or what used to be a half gallon in the United States, in 2 days.
Yeah.
Chop it in half, take the paper off it, and then put that in a bowl, wrap the other stuff, take that pap, and do it the next day. And if my wife's not around, I'll just sit and eat the whole thing.
Nice. Yep.
Until I look at my blood work, and my blood is like...
Yeah, I've got to go do that in a couple of weeks. I'm not looking forward to it.
Godspeed. Yeah. Let's take a break. When we come back in the second half, the top 8 or 7 stories of
somewhere in there.
25. We'll get it. We got the top stories coming. Counting it down to number 1. We'll come back in the second block of the Cultural Hall.
Faith shows up in the small everyday places. At Latter Day 3D Studio, we create detailed magnets from your favorite temple or powerful imagery of Christ emerging from the tomb. We also have modern ties designed to be worn to church or in the temple. Right now, listeners can take 15% off with code Cultural Hall as a thank you for supporting LDS creators. These pieces make meaningful gifts for baptisms, ordinations, or simple reminders of covenants at home, work, or worship. Visit LatterdayDstudio.com and use code Cultural Hall again at checkout for an extra 15% off. Latter Day 3D Studio. Faith made tangible.
Let me take just a moment to tell you all about bestdjinutah.com. That is the website where you can learn all about me. Oh, sure, you probably feel like you know me, but you know me in the Cultural Hall sense. I have a DJ company, now 6 of us strong. Great event hosts, MCs, and DJs that can be able to make whatever event you have coming up absolutely spectacular, and hope you will reach out to us. Now you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Richie. I don't live in Utah. Would you travel? Absolutely, I would travel. Would they travel? Absolutely, they would travel. Whatever your event is, doesn't have to be a wedding or a community event. We can do all sorts of things. I can teach you line dancing. I can dance with you. We can do partner dancing. We can do all kinds of things, but we can't do any of it if you don't hit me up. You can go to bestdjinutah.com. You can fill out the form to get more information or get a quote, and then I will get right back to you. Find out why I'm so busy and why sometimes we don't get episodes of the Cultural Hall. It's all because of bestdjinutah.com. Here in the second half of Articles of News, we continue with actual articles of news, and because I forgot, I think, to do it earlier, I'm going to say, hit it, Peter.
You can't lose Articles of News.
And let's get back into it. So... What say you? We're like 7 or 8 or
Number 8.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We'll make this one quick. Number 8 is violent attacks on church congregations.
Oh, geez.
Whether that's the Grand Blanc or Grand Blanc, um, Michigan situation or other situations. But I think that's an important one. Although we had that situation in Michigan. A week later, we had the safety briefing and the security discussion in our ward,
Mhm.
and no one has said a word since.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my number 8. What about yours?
My number 8, according to my list, is the church's church handbook guidance on artificial intelligence, which I think is
Oh,
kind of about there.
yeah, yeah.
As we make our way into it, I think the tragedy in Michigan, uh, it's unfortunate that you are correct that it was everything everyone talked about and then nothing that, anyone not in Michigan has sort of talked about since. It sort of rose as we raised money for the family of the gentleman. Saints came to that, and we sort of forgave him in that way. And there are certainly people that are still struggling, and I'm not minimizing it. It's unfortunate that we live in a world that isn't a far more lasting impact, but a huge, huge story as far as the church and how we aren't different. We are subject to the things that everyone else is as well. And the
Yep.
thing that makes me so nervous about it, I wish that this never will happen. I hope that it never does. I hope that we're vigilant. I hope that, all of the things, but I worry about things like a general conference and something like Grand
Mm,
Blanc kind of thing.
mm, mm,
When there are
mm.
so many people gathered, I
Yeah.
love it. I love the spirit that comes from it, but while the world is in the state that something like the thing in Michigan can happen, I get so anxious every time there is a general
Yeah.
conference from that perspective. Or like President Holland's funeral, anytime that a large mass gathering goes, it takes one person who goes, the church did this, and then, tragedy
Mm,
today in Salt Lake.
yeah.
It makes me so, 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 so angry and anxious.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree.
This one I sort of forgot about, but I think I certainly, as we talk about impact, I think maybe more than any of the stories that we've talked about this far, the creation of 55 new missions to
That's a great
accommodate
one.
the rising number of the missionaries, and hand in glove the missionary age change for sisters to be able to go and serve missions. So the mission changes in 2025, huge, 55 more places, more localized, more centralized, some being opened that hadn't been there before. And now we get high school girls that are seniors going, I can't wait till graduation day because the next day I'm going on my mission.
Yep. I've got a niece who's thinking that way. It's
Is she
wonderful.
really?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now,
And
as
she'll be an awesome missionary.
sure, as an uncle though, do you go, hey, that's great. Do it when you feel like doing it? Like, do you feel compelled to have that conversation at all where it's like, listen, it's great. You could wait till 19 or 20 or 21, and I think it's a great experience. Are you that guy, or are you like, go if you're willing and you'll figure it out?
I'm the go when you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And I'm very quick to tell people I was not ready at 18.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been, would I have been a good missionary? I would have been a decent missionary. I would have been an average, okay missionary.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done what needed to be done. I was such a better missionary and got so much more out of it a year later
Sure.
for lots of different reasons. And so I always encourage people. I'm not a person that says go as soon as you can get there legally. No, go when you're ready, but commit to do it and go do it.
Yeah. There's a certain part of me, it's funny because I yin and yang that within myself. Part of me goes, yeah, just go. Because the longer, like if you can go and you don't go, the longer you wait, different things can happen. And also, even if you are
Yeah.
like, I studied and prepared and I'm ready, you get there and you realize, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Now
You know?
let's. I don't want to put any false information out there. During that year. I did not study. I did not
Yeah.
prepare. I did not make myself intentionally better to be a
Sure.
missionary.
Sure.
Life and the way it treated me in that year prepared me to be a better missionary.
Yeah. I appreciate that you felt like you even needed to say that. We all knew that you did not do any of that.
No, that was about the least thing I did was prepare for a mission.
Sure.
In fact, I refused to take missionary prep religion course at BYU before I went on my mission.
Yeah, you did. You show them. You show them. So like, yeah, I have that argument within myself. And then the other side of it, I go, yeah, wait until you feel like you're ready to a little bit more mature, until you've lived on your own to be able to take care of yourself. And I think that that's true. But I think to give a blanket for anything just doesn't work. There are some people that just need to go because they'll never do anything like that if they think about it, if they hesitate, if they anything like that.
Yeah.
And then there are other people that could intentionally prepare and then be able to be that much better as they wait and go later.
It's classic follow the spirit. Classic follow the spirit. And this is where I encourage parents, having been a leader in a YSA unit, please let your soon-to-be missionary make that decision. Don't make it for them. Don't tell them that you've received a spiritual confirmation that they need to go now or that they need to go later. Let them come up with that spiritual confirmation.
What is your next story?
My next story is Seminary and Institute enrollment hits a all-time high.
Okay.
We're on the verge here. And in fact, it wouldn't surprise me in the next couple of years, we hit 1 million enrolled. 1 million, the Seminary and Institute enrollment.
To the side of your mouth, 1 million.
Exactly. Not that I ever watched that rated R movie.
Is it? It's not rated R, is it?
I don't know. They use. I think the F word standard is broken by large measure. So
no, you are incorrect. They were all PG-13, my friend.
Oh my gosh, they pushed the limits as far as they possibly could for PG-13.
Thanks, Dad. Not how they used to make PG-13.
I would never sit in a theater with my mother and watch that movie. Let's just put it that way.
Because she'd hate that movie.
Oh my gosh. But 900,000 youth enrolled between seminary and institute. Yes, we're having challenges with lots of people leaving the church for lots of different reasons. But what a wonderful statistic that really tells you something about what the church is focusing on, what the church is making available to all of these youth in the institute. I know the institute students around here get phenomenal institute instruction.
I'll lump into this another statistic, the fact that we have grown so much as a church, the converts, almost 1 million over the last 3 years, that being a news story from this year, that sort of groundbreaking statistic. And then also those that are enrolled in BYU Pathway, another statistic worth noting from 2025. We're busting trends, breaking trends, and busting records and all that in those things. And I think it is my very, 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 very likely prediction. I'll go here. I'll do it. I'll say it. We will have 100,000 LDS missionaries in 2026.
Oh, you think so?
There will be enough sisters that rise.
The bubble.
Yep,
yeah.
The bubble that comes from
don't we have 85,000 right now?
Yep. When we get to about June
bubble.
Yep. June, July, August.
Yeah.
It won't stay there, but school graduation, it will be the trendy thing. Wow. It will be I'm not sure what I'm doing. It will be the thing. And you will see us bust the 100,000.
This is where having the 55 new missions will really help.
Yes.
Because if not for those new missions, cramming in another 50 missionaries into an existing mission where mission presidents and mission leaders are just going nuts already is impossible.
Yep.
So yeah, interrelated.
What is your next story?
I'm going to throw in a story that AI did not give me, but I am firm on this, and I mentioned it last time. I think the changes in the garments are at this level.
Okay.
We haven't had a change in garments in the way the garments looked and the way they're worn since, just before I received my own endowment and started wearing garments back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And so I think this changes. It's not just the change itself. It changes the way we think about garments and why many people thought about why they wore garments and the whole discussion around
modesty,
the modesty and the modesty culture that we had and all of those things. It was a very poor and simple excuse for the modesty culture we had was, well, you got to be able to cover your garments. That's not what modesty means. That's not what garments mean. So I think that change is going to have repercussions way beyond just this year.
Well, and I would contend the story is that our adjustment towards what they mean and what modesty is far more than the shrinking of the
Yes,
the sleeve line and everything like that. I don't know that
absolutely.
that's even much of that story. Interesting to me, my Chat GPT list didn't, and I'm a Gemini guy, didn't even bring that up. Um, but my story here is the terrible um, multi-vehicle bus crash in
Mm,
Lesotho in
uh,
June of this last year. Mostly young women ages 12 to 17. There were 10 members of the church that were killed. The collision injured many, prompted that just heartbreaking picture of the caskets in Lesotho, Lesotho, sorry. 10 LDS members, 9 young women, and 1 young women's counselor, and the branch president's wife, um, with another dozen injured in that just horrible, terrible tragedy.
well, and I understand. I believe the driver and passengers in the other vehicle that struck them as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, just
Terrible.
boof. But that
Yeah.
but that photo, while also sad, there's something sort of beautiful about the plan of salvation that kind of comes from it. There'll be a link for it in the show notes. If you did not get to see that
Hmm.
picture, you can see it. But man, just oh, anyway, you knew there had
Yeah.
to be one of those
Heavy.
stories in there, and certainly the people in Michigan, that's a story for them. But this one, I wanted to just bring back up because that was in fact this year. All right, we don't have much time. What are the other stories as you see it?
Yeah,
What's
we're
the next
getting
one?
a lot of overlap. One that I think probably ranked a little bit lower, but AI said it's here is general conference format changes.
Okay,
I think that's more for long-term impact, right? So
sure.
we're changing the Saturday evening session again, um, and dispensing with it, and so we'll see what happens from here.
And ice cream shops in the Intermountain West. Long for the days where it used to be a men and a women and they could have big parties, but there we are.
Well, here in the mission field, the ice cream shops will wonder what the heck happened to those huge things we used to get twice a year. People would come in for some random reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
My number, whatever we are at, story is the Salt Lake Temple open house dates announced.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, we'll
Are
see
they going to
them.
hold? Are they going to hold?
Are just the 6 months?
Yeah. Well, are those dates going to really hold? You don't
Yes.
think there will be any
No,
additional
I think,
slippage?
yeah, the dates will hold. They would not have
Okay.
announced it. They would not have announced it without the dates being able to be held for the starting of the open house. I still maintain they are either going to have to get so creative in how they get people through that I hope they don't diminish the experience, or they're going to have to elongate it because their plan right now is essentially general conference. Yay, let's
6
kick it
months.
off. And then general
Yeah.
conference. All right. And I maintain the final session of general conference will be the temple rededication. It will be a solemn assembly, or not solemn assembly. It's when we do the prophet.
Yeah.
It will be a, hey world, we want everyone to be a part of the rededication of the Salt Lake Temple.
I think that's a great idea. And I was thinking about what you brought up the other night, actually. How are they going to handle the kind of crowds that are anticipated here?
Mhm.
And then I thought back to when King Tut, the Tutankhamun exhibit, first came to America for the very first time. My family went to see it in San Francisco, and it was in the San Francisco Museum of Natural History, I think is where they put it, or they might have put it in the Palace of Fine Arts. But we went to San Francisco proper to see this incredible exhibit. You want to guess what time of day we went to see it?
1:30 in the morning.
That's exactly when we went to see it. It was
No,
1 a.m.
no way.
1 a.m. on a Wednesday morning.
And people did
because
it.
It was packed 24 hours a day. The exhibit was there, I think, for 3 or 4 months. It literally was sold out for the 4 months, 24 hours a day.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think the temple, they could do round the clock.
Yeah.
And they would have to then change the saying that nothing good happens after midnight.
Yeah. Everything good happens after midnight. Woo! All right. We've got time for the rest of these
Couple more.
stories.
What's your next one?
Well, my next 3 are all sort of the same story, but I think it's the biggest impact. So let's go to yours.
I'm going to say death of President Holland, Elder Holland.
Okay.
and the impact that that's had. He carried a huge impact throughout his ministry, throughout his apostleship and prior. And so I think that's a pretty big watershed event for the
Yeah.
church.
And I'll just sort of speak into it. Do you have anything that isn't the leadership transition for the President Nelson, President Oaks, and Elder Holland?
Nope.
Yeah. Biggest story of the year, and there's so much as far as this goes. President Nelson, making it to 101 before he passes, longest, longest running or longest age wise as far as that goes. Oldest is the word I was trying to say. The impact of President Oaks now being the prophet and having very much a different personality than President Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
The passing of President Holland and his sort of compassion and interfaith work and some of those things.
Well, we had a great discussion on the Cultural Hall Facebook page about which talk mattered most to you from President Holland, and I thought it was great. In fact, I looked at him and I chose one, and I said, "Wait a second, didn't he give another talk about this topic?" I went and looked that up and read it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, another great talk that he gave! Just amazing."
I wonder, as I look at who, like, our new President Holland will be, not like,
who will step into that role of taking kind of that,
great orator, storyteller, because President Monson, great storyteller, President Uchtdorf, certainly a great storyteller, but there's something that is, I think, as an American saint with President Uchtdorf, that we just sort of find his accent charming.
Yes.
Not to diminish his storytelling capacity, but his stories are not the same as like a President Monson or a President Holland story. And I think part of it is we find him so darn charming and things like that.
Well, and some of his topics are interesting because no one else talks about those.
Yes.
Whether it's growing up in poverty in Germany,
sure,
or whatever the case may be.
Twice an immigrant.
Who's going to step up into that role? We got to look. One of these younger apostles has to take on that mantle, and I love them all, but I wonder if maybe Elder Kieran can step into that role.
Yeah, I would also, I hope, and this is not the case with Elder Dubé, so maybe if I can champion a dark horse candidate, I would love a funny apostle.
Oh, yes.
We
need
Elder
a funny apostle.
Yep.
And we need more funny general authorities. I don't know. When I was growing up, I know people don't like to talk about Elder Paul Dunn, but Elder Dunn got me to listen to General Conference every single time because I wanted to hear him.
It's because his stories were so true.
His stories were motivational and awesome. And one of the reasons I went on a mission was because of Elder Dunn.
Oh,
despite all of his issues.
Okay, dark horse candidate, Elder By the Way, as the new apostle. Impressions and stories.
Singing.
He would be the first to say please and thank you. No,
I know.
But Elder By the Way as the new apostle, man, I would eat that up, and we need something like that. Sorry, John.
We need something like that. And by the way, John and Hank, we need to get you on this program for the very least reason, because of the Christmas show that you guys put on over the last month in the Intermountain West. I bought my parents tickets. They were so tickled with that show.
Oh, good.
They went to Spanish Fork High School and watched it in the auditorium and just loved the variety, the singing, the humor, the seriousness, everything that John and Hank do so well together, and pulling in all the others that participated, of course. But those are just the first two names that came to mind. But yes, By the Way, Elder By the Way, and he has the reverent composure to handle it.
That's the thing, because it was just like it's like an Elder Stedman as an apostle. No way, no chance. And not just because I was excommunicated and they don't do that, but because I don't have that. But John By the Way has the humor, the reverence, the thing. The balance. Yes. Yeah. I am on board for this. I hope that's, if it's not Elder Dubé, who is my hope of who it is.
Maybe we should start a what do you call it? A petition
Yes,
start an elder
change.org
petition.
petition.
Yeah,
That's how apostles get called.
exactly.
If
Sorry, Kurt, we're not putting you on the list.
yeah, Kurt Frankum. Oh, I wanted to
Kurt-
be the apostle. Just this.
Kurt would be awesome as an apostle. I'll
He
go on
would. He's
record.
too young.
Kurt,
He's
you'd be
got kids at
fantastic.
home still. He's got to get those
It's
kids
happened
out.
before. Come on.
He's got to get those kids out. Not in this day.
No, they got to put him in the 70s so that he can start, the line here.
Listen, I'll push for Kurt. He can be part of the Utah area presidency, Kurt.
Oh, for sure.
I will change.org that petition. If we missed any of the stories that you felt like were the top stories of 2025, you can take us to task. Love to hear about that. Contact at theculturalhall.com. Don't forget, you can still get tickets for our live show. It is the 5th of January over at the Leatherby's in Taylorsville. It's an ice cream shop, $20 a person. That's why you got to email us, contact at theculturalhall.com. Those headsets are charged. It's all ready to go.
You want to be there. Remember from the last episode I did, if you can come up to me at that event and tell me what the Christmas surprise was that I spoke about, then I will pay your $20.
There it is. That's a gift in itself.
The first person that does that.
Live special guest that will be there doing our Smooch, Marry, Kill. So it is a thing that you do not want to miss. There will be a video of it. So be sure that you are there January the 5th, 2026 at the Leatherby's in Taylorsville. We hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
And if you weren't healthy enough to listen this week, you'll be healthy enough to listen next week.
And that when the time comes, you'll be able to travel home in safety. Here we go. In the meantime,
you do the first.
Go Tar Heels.
Alpine Lakes Travel.
No, Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel. Don't forget Chris.
At Alpine Lakes Travel. Sorry, Chris. Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel.
Then we got the Tiger with a U.
Debbie Wanless.
Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast.
And Latter Day 3D Studio.
Did I say the Tiger with a U? Why do I always forget?
You did.
It seems like we always get through these and then my mind goes, did we get them all? Oh, Verlin's got it right there. He's got them all. Cultural Hall sponsors a note on his phone. If you would like to be a Patreon saint, there is still time for you to do it in 2025. Come on. 1,000 episodes.
Do it.
You can't do $5 a month. Come on.
That's right.
Go to patreon.com/The Cultural Hall. In the meantime, we'll be saving a seat for you.
On the back row.
Of
the
Cultural Hall.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat. On the back row, we really gotta go on the Cultural Hall show.